Hey.
Hey, sit on it. I'm joined by Fonzie today.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Hey, I don't actually know any of his other catchphrases.
I never watched
It's
that show.
no, it's super old.
Beyond my
Um,
time.
it's just the two of us today. Isn't that right, Greer?
That's right, Fran.
That's right, Greer. So I just watched 120 Days of Sodom.
And then I asked you why you would do that.
A valid question. It started with basically I wanted to watch a horror film today, which I do on most days, but today was a rare day that I wasn't working. So I looked up 100 great horror films or something like that, and scrolling through, I saw this film, 120 Days of Sodom. I thought, oh, that looks quite interesting. And it was I said to Greer at the time, it made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre look like Toy Story. It was one of the most horrible films,
I
probably
am
the most
surprised
horrible
that
I've seen in my life.
I was surprised that you had not seen the Cinema Snob video on that
Oh,
because
I haven't seen like a great deal of the cinema stuff, but having said that, when I watched it, I did think I
you need
wouldn't
to
be
go
surprised
watch
if he
his video on it.
did.
That's the only reason I. Yeah, he did do it. I'm trying to think if he did in fact do a video on it, and
I'm
I'm pretty
almost
sure
certain
yes.
he must have. He must have. I mean, it is definitely in his remit.
I get
Um,
120 Days of Sodom all the time mixed up with shit. What's that movie?
there is shit in
No,
120 Days
Newborn
of Sodom,
Porn.
by the
What's
way.
that movie? Fuck.
I have no idea.
That fucking movie that was like terrible.
I've never heard of it.
Hold on. Now I gotta look it up.
I'm being so unhelpful here. Sorry, Gru.
A
But
Serbian film. I'm sorry. Yeah.
oh, a Serbian film. Yeah, no, that very recently. I think yeah, that's only kind of about like 5 years old or something like that. It's very recent. But
I always get 120 Days of Sodom mixed up with that movie for some reason. I have no idea
I
why.
I mean, a Serbian film is meant to be horrible,
Yeah.
but I would be remiss if I didn't say that 120 Days of Sodom must be at least in the top
Have you
five
watched a
most horrible
Serbian
films
film?
ever made. No, I haven't. I haven't seen it. It's meant to be
Yeah.
horrible, but if it's up there with 120 Days of Sodom, I'll be surprised. That was a particularly nasty experience. And what's funny is that I normally really enjoy horror films. I like going to that place. I like that rush, that adrenaline, kind of going out of your comfort zone. I think that's what being a horror fan is. But it wasn't an enjoyable experience. It was an interesting experience, because you sort of think to yourself, like, is this torture porn? Or was there a legitimate reason for this to be made? Because it is a well-made film. It's well acted. It's well written,
And it's a
beautifully
book.
shot, and it's a book.
Yeah.
But
Marquis
well, yeah,
Sade, who was a fairly interesting person. I watched a documentary on him once.
oh yeah. What do you know about the Marquis de Sade? Because I know very
I
little.
know he was in jail for a long time, and then that's when he wrote 120 Days of Sodom and Justine and Juliet and a bunch of other books like that, that pretty much have the same themes, torture, violence, the fetish stuff, pedophilia, all this crap, all this stuff like that. And like a part of me is like, I should read those one day because he sounds like he was a very interesting person.
Yeah, I think
It
interesting is the
intrigues
word.
me just out of pure curiosity.
Yeah, and
Kind
I
of
think
like the way like you want to read like Mein Kampf because Hitler was a very interesting person. You don't exactly
yeah,
agree with everything that
yeah.
person did or was interested in, but you're like that person is very interesting.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think I suppose the difference is that Mein Kampf,
Most people read Mein Kampf out of pure curiosity.
yeah, more like absolutely morbid
Yeah,
curiosity. But I do think the fundamental difference is that Mein Kampf isn't a fiction. That did actually happen.
yeah.
So there's that maybe in that way I could be completely wrong, but maybe in that way it's somehow less perverse. To read it, you can say, well, I'm reading it from a historically objective standpoint. Whereas I definitely, it made me examine when I was watching this film, what are my motivations for watching it? Am I watching it to get some kind of kick, or...
I mean, you saw it on a list and you were like, I wonder what that movie is about. Oh, God.
But the fact that I carried on watching it because it's about violence towards teenagers, and that is also
it's about many things.
Yeah, and that kind of separates it.
Please
from some
feel
of the
free
other
to Google it yourself if you're interested.
Oh yeah, you'll be mightily interested.
You will be pleasantly surprised.
Audience. Yeah, it's a light-hearted romp.
Make sure you are alone.
1970s Italy.
Make sure you are.
You've got your headphones on.
Very alone.
Yeah, headphones. Parents not in the house. Actually, I would say I would advise you to be 18 or over.
Go ahead and for safety, just put your dog out in the backyard and just be completely alone.
Okay, why don't we compile a list of reasons, not of reasons, that's a whole other story, of ways in which to watch 20 Days of Sodom safely?
You want to, just ship yourself to the middle of the ocean? Maybe that...
Don't be eating.
Yeah.
Don't eat at the time. Don't eat at least 20 minutes before or 20 minutes after watching...
I don't know, you watched the movie. I haven't seen it.
I'd had a curry a good 3 hours before, so I was okay.
The worst film like that I've ever seen is sadly The Human Centipede 2, which isn't even that good of a movie. I watched it with my brother, and because we've seen the first one, and we were like, I wonder what the second one is about. And then we watched it, and we're like, oh my god, that's terrible. And the movie is just all around awful. Not just in... It's hilariously awful. You have to have a good sense of humor to watch that movie, or a terrible sense of humor in my case. But
isn't it super pretentious? Don't they come at it with art house? Yeah, it's supposed to be some kind of art house piece.
It's all in black and white. There's a guy that masturbates with sandpaper. The best part of the movie, and it's the best / worst part of the movie, spoilers for Human Centipede 2, by the way, there's a point where this woman escapes from being the Human Centipede, and she gets in, a car, and she starts it, and she's pregnant, by the way, she's actively in labor, so she starts the car, and right when she's about to hit the gas, the baby just slides out of her, onto the car floor, and then under the pedal. And then she hits the pedal really hard, and that was the best scene in the movie.
I mean, that's hilarious.
It's hilariously terrible.
But 120 Days of Sodom, I think I might have reached my peak in terms of the level of disgustingness I'm able to put up with, because it was so... It's a cruel movie. The Human Centipede, it's too stupid to be cruel,
the second one's a little more cruel, it's just weird. The second one's weird, man.
The thing is, ostensibly they're both, the ideas are obviously quite cruel, but they're so...
I wouldn't want that to happen to me,
Oh yeah, totally. Very few horror films would you want to experience firsthand, but
Leprechaun is a stupid movie. I wouldn't want that to happen to me, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be chased by an evil Warwick Davis leprechaun that wants to kill
me. Maybe just Warwick Davis with Carl Pilkington.
Yeah, maybe just like Warwick Davis, but not the actual leprechaun. Just
Carl Pilkington running away from some bees. I think I'd be okay with that. Lord of bees here. Oh. I'm really, really happy that we segued into Carl Pilkington this early.
Speaking of English things, did you want to talk about soccer?
I wanted to talk about something, but what's this soccer of which you speak?
This is your football.
Soccer ball. There we go. We've reached a treaty. I
don't give a shit about... I have not seen 1 second of that stuff, except for when I was flipping on TV one day and I saw that guy bite the other guy.
Luis Suarez. For those of you that don't know, Luis Suarez is I think a Brazilian football player
I think he's
who
Guatemalan.
oh, is he Guatemalan?
I
Okay, well he
think so.
bit someone. I think he bit a referee. Maybe I only think he's Brazilian because that's
But
who's hosting.
apparently,
But
what I read up on it is he has bitten multiple people.
oh no, he absolutely has. It's by the way, you should all go and look up Charlie Bit My Finger, the Luis Suarez version. It's very funny. But yeah, he's bitten multiple people and only been given a 6-month ban. So yeah, I guess apparently when you assault someone but you're a multi-millionaire football player, the rules don't apply to you. So yeah, that's interesting. And again, incredibly funny. The funniest thing about the World Cup to me is that England was so unceremoniously knocked out. Just a humiliating defeat. Given the fact that I think, we hold football in particularly high esteem in this country, it's of a great deal of importance to a lot of people. And we didn't really get to enjoy it in quite the same way, because
Aren't you
we
guys
were just...
usually, like, good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not being funny, but yeah. I mean, we're not perfect, and obviously there's a lot of nitpicking you could do if you were a really kind of obsessive football fan. But yeah, I mean, we're like some countries, they don't take it seriously, and it is just considered a bit of a joke. We take it very, very fucking seriously. Although America is still in the World Cup, which I've got to take my hat off to you. I was not expecting that.
I didn't know how good we were, so I assumed that we weren't very good because we don't really care about soccer that much over here.
No, apart from
we don't even call it football. That's how much we don't care about it.
Yeah, that continues to make me furious, despite the fact that I now know the historical reasoning behind it.
Apparently,
yeah.
I can't even tell like who's still in this game. Because soccer confuses me. But I know it's, like, Germany and, like, the US, I think Chile, or I don't know, fuck. I get my matches for the day when I go onto Google, and I see the Google Doodle, and it's like, oh, France and Nigeria are playing today.
Oh, wow, you know your flag colors. I'm impressed.
No, like you hover over it and it says like what it is.
Oh, right, okay.
So, like France and Nigeria play in like 15 minutes apparently, so.
But you don't really give a shit about the Super Bowl, do you? I mean, you're just generally not interested.
I don't. I've been to a few Super Bowl parties, if only because I mean, like, you told me earlier that, I asked you, do you keep up with the World Cup? Is it like a law over there in England that you're supposed to keep up with everything football? But you said, you can't really help it. It's kind of just everywhere. Yeah. That's the same with the Super Bowl. Like, but it's only for, like, one day, whereas the World Cup lasts for, like, weeks. How long? Like, 2.5 weeks or some shit?
Yeah, I mean,
Super Bowl is, like, one day for, like, 6 or 8 hours.
Oh, blimey.
So,
the
games leading up to the Super Bowl, I mean, are spread out through the months. But
so is the Super Bowl like the final?
The Super Bowl is, like, one game, yeah.
Yeah, but is it like all the other teams have been knocked out?
Yeah,
and it's the
it's
last
like the World Series.
In the game.
It's the same as the World Series and,
Right.
whatever they do for basketball. I don't know.
But I mean, I think the thing is that, like, yes, it's impossible to get away from, but also, I mean, it's like, I quite like football, I quite enjoy watching it, but like, I'm not like a super fan or anything, but like, I
look at a soccer match, I'm like, okay, yeah, one guy kicked the ball better than the other guy.
No, it's much more when it's played well, it's much more exciting than that. But I do think it's more the whole, like. And I imagine it's the same with the Super Bowl. And the Olympics. It's the spirit that kind of everyone gets in during that time that sort of rouses you and makes you become more interested than you ever would be any other time of the year. And that seems to be pretty universal. Like, I didn't think I was going to give a fuck about the Olympics, but I did. I really did. I was really, really invested. And it's kind of that, well, when in Rome thing, you know, you can't help but be taken away by, it's sort of infectious.
Yeah. Yeah, like I usually end up kind of giving a shit about the Olympics, if only because there's just nothing on TV for like a month. So it's like, I'll just watch the Olympics, I guess, you know?
Also, we did, I mean, I have to say, we may have fucking failed the World Cup, but our opening ceremony was
Oh, for
unbelievably
the
good.
Olympics?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we fucking kicked it.
Yeah.
We kicked it.
I'm gonna try to list off all of. I know like 3 soccer players.
Go on.
I know David Beckham, right?
Yep.
I
Yeah,
know
good.
Cristiano Ronaldo, who
Yeah,
plays for
yeah.
Brazil.
Right.
Right,
Try and
I
list off
think.
5.
Huh?
Yeah, no, he does. Try and list off 5.
I know some guy named Ronaldinho, who I think plays for Brazil too.
Do you mean Ronaldo?
No, Ronaldinho. He's. I don't think he was like really popular in like the early 2000s, and he has like this super cool hair. He looks, I don't know, he looks like a black guy, but he's Brazilian. But no, I don't even think he was in the World Cup this year. But anyway, no, I know him. And
I mean, yeah, they can be past, present, future. No, not future. That doesn't make any sense.
That's it, really. David
I'm
Beckham.
a fucking idiot.
I already said David Beckham, but
Yeah, you said him twice, Greer.
isn't that guy that headbutted that other guy, Zidane?
Hang on, you haven't talked about the one that we just talked about.
What's his name? What's his
You're
name?
nearly there.
Luis Sanchez? No.
Suarez,
yeah.
Luis Suarez.
Him, and then Zidane was that guy that headbutted the other guy a couple years ago.
Well, I can only name one American
French
football
guy.
player. Yeah, you're right. No, the only American football player I can name is Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. Like, what about like the Mannings, like Peyton Manning and?
No idea.
Peyton
No idea.
Manning
First I've heard of them.
I don't know that many either, but I know more like basketball and baseball players.
The only reason I know Brett Favre is because Mr. Garrison had an erotic dream about him on South Park.
Oh my god.
Oh, by the way, talking of cartoons, I have rediscovered in kind of the wake of there being a new SpongeBob movie coming out next year, early next year. I have rediscovered a love for SpongeBob. Like as you all know, anyone that listens to this show, I started watching Adventure Time recently and fell in love with it. And I thought, I'm going to go back and watch a load of other cartoons.
Speaking of Adventure Time, did you watch the newest Enderman episode where they had it with a lumpy space prince?
I'm trying to watch them all in order. I'm not that far yet.
Oh, it's good.
I know, I'm excited.
It's really
I
funny.
love Lumpy Space. I love LSP. I fucking adore LSP. I should watch some more Adventure Time soon. But no, I went back and I couldn't believe how good SpongeBob was. Like, it's really funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny. It's so well written. The visuals are fantastic. The actors, fucking Tom Kenny
is a
genius.
gem upon earth.
And like the characters are so good. Like they're genuinely good. You really care about them. Like their interactions are really interesting. Like it's not deep in the same way that Adventure Time is, but they are definitely 3-dimensional characters. You definitely believe in them and you care about them. It's just that the show itself is very, very lighthearted. It's more like the only time it gets, I would say occasionally it's blackly comic. Like some of the things that happen to Squidward and Mrs. Puff are just like the amount of times that Mrs. Puff has gone to prison. Oh yeah, I mean, Squidward, you're quite, I mean, you're sort of sad for him, but it's very funny. Fucking Mrs. Puff, like, her life is hell. Like, she can't escape SpongeBob, and, like, her constant ending up in prison is, like, that's quite dark. Ending up in prison because of things that SpongeBob has done, and SpongeBob just having no idea.
Mr. Krabs is kind of dark, too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Mr. Krabs I love as a character, and I love, like, one thing that I think is really sweet on the show is his relationship with his daughter. Like, I fucking love Pearl. Pearl is hilarious.
Dad!
Like, Daddy! Like, if I could voice one character on the show, it would be Pearl.
I like that episode where SpongeBob took her to prom. I
Oh, I
think it was
haven't seen
prom
that
or
yet.
something. But
I haven't seen
SpongeBob took
that.
her to her dance or something, and he had like these stilts he was walking on because he was too short. He was trying to make himself seem more like handsome, so he put himself on stilts and like put a wig on.
SpongeBob is like he's such an interesting character because he's not just a goofball. Like he's not just Patrick. Like he's
He's not
occasionally
just
quite
Patrick.
yeah. It's not just like two dumb guys. Like Patrick is legitimately dumb. SpongeBob is just weird. Like it's like occasionally he's quite like smooth. And like he'll adopt this kind of smooth guy persona. And like he's not always that nice. It's like
One of my favorite episodes, we're just talking about dark themes in it, one of my favorite episodes is when SpongeBob, I think, like, Squidward got a pie from some pirates, and he was gonna give it to SpongeBob because it was his birthday or something, or they were exchanging gifts or something. And he accidentally bought a pie with a bomb in it, and then SpongeBob ate the pie with the bomb in it, and then Mr. Krabs told Squidward to take SpongeBob out all day and do everything that SpongeBob wanted to do because it was going to be SpongeBob's last day because he was going to blow up in the sunset.
That's fucking hilarious.
They were doing all this really dumb shit, and Squidward's like, oh my god.
And like the weird, like, I love anything where there's like a close up of something and it's like in this like horrific detail. Like it's just so weird. It's
I think that was also the same episode where SpongeBob tried to give Squidward a sweater, and Squidward's like, "Oh, what's this thing made out of?" And he made it out of his eyelashes. And then he rejected it. SpongeBob's like, "Here, Squidward, I made you another one. This one's made out of my tears."
See, I just love I love the fact that like Patrick and SpongeBob they love Squidward and all they want is to be Squidward's friend, but it's not like they know that Squidward isn't as perfect as he thinks he is, and it's like they can see that that's his great.
I've heard a lot of people my age comment on like they're like, wow, the older I've gotten, the more I can relate with Squidward.
Oh yeah. Like when you're younger, you love SpongeBob and all his like crazy antics. But like as I get older, like I do find myself going throughout life thinking like I deserve better than this. I deserve to be around smarter people. I'm destined for greatness, and just all that pretentious bollocks that isn't true. Like you start to impose on yourself, and it's like that's what Squidward does. That is his character. He is the adult.
Me and all of my friends always loved the Band Geek episode, where they make a marching band.
Oh, yeah.
And
is mayonnaise an instrument? I love Patrick. Patrick I love just because he cracks me up.
Yeah.
But again, that's a really moving episode. And there was one that I watched recently where Squidward actually has a little bit of triumph, and it's so moving. You're so happy for him. Like, he writes a symphony, and he kind of subconsciously writes Patrick and SpongeBob into it because they're just kind of, they're pervading his life. He can't get away from them. And the symphony ends up being really good. And he gets loads of acclaim and applause. And you keep thinking, like, this is going to have a twist. Somehow it's going to go wrong for Squidward. And it doesn't. It doesn't. The episode is really uplifting for the character. And it's like the show's been going for 10 years, and only once in a blue moon does that happen, and it's so nice when it does.
I like the one episode where Squidward says he's never had a Krabby Patty, and then he eats one, and then he becomes obsessed with Krabby Patties, but he can't let anyone know that he's obsessed with Krabby Patties.
I know, and it's like his like.
And then he has a fantasy about marrying a Krabby Patty.
Yeah.
This giant Krabby Patty in his dreams, and he marries it and has a kid with it.
That's one thing. The show did give me a craving for cheeseburgers.
Oh yeah.
The likes of which I've never had before. But no, I mean it's a bit like.
Like when I was little and I lived by the beach, me and my friends like would make sandcastles and like run a fake Krusty Krab. Like did that pretend kid shit on the beach. But always did it like with the Krusty Krab and SpongeBob and stuff.
God, you're so much younger than me. My God, like. That depresses me.
I mean, I was probably way too old to be doing that stuff, but I had fun.
I played Harry Potter up until I was 11, so it's okay.
I played SpongeBob and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Till I was about
I
12.
played I think like what's so interesting though is I I legitimately think Squidward is quite a tragic character, but because it's a children's TV show, and this is why when people are like, why do you watch cartoons? I'm like, you don't understand how deep some of them can get, because they can't go down the traditional adult route of just coming out and saying something because it's for kids. They have to allude to all these things in really creative ways. So when Squidward is being driven mad by SpongeBob and Patrick, as a child you're laughing at it. As an adult, you recognize how tragic it is. It's tragic.
You're like, oh my god, I can relate to this.
Yeah, exactly, and it's much more creative than the way an adult show.
Squidward.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And not being able to play the clarinet, not being able to get any better at it, despite it being his life's ambition. And
it's
SpongeBob
stuck in a 9 to 5 minimum wage job.
Yeah, oh, fucking exactly. And SpongeBob, this is why SpongeBob isn't stupid. He knows that Squidward can't play the clarinet. He knows that Squidward isn't as talented as he thinks he is. And he still wants to be Squidward's friend. He just wants Squidward to be happy. That is so, touching to me.
You're giving, a thesis on SpongeBob, and I love it.
I know, I was just surprised. I was surprised about how good it was.
It still holds up. There are some people that are like, oh, it hasn't, recent years it hasn't been as good. I think it's still, of course the older episodes are better, but I think it's still.
Oh yeah, totally. I think it still holds up. Yeah. Definitely. I've watched a lot of them out of order because it's been when I've just kind of started to catch them more and more when they've been on, but
it's the older ones that people remember the most. I think that's where that bias comes from. The one with the the pilots, and when they first meet Sandy and SpongeBob needs Sandy. Water, he's like, I now need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it.
I really love
that. That's all I remember from that episode.
Oh yeah, because Patrick is teaching him how to be sophisticated.
Yeah.
I remember another Sandy SpongeBob episode is where SpongeBob he realizes that he's never going to be a tough guy, and that's not how he can impress Sandy, but he realizes that people really like it when he rips his pants. People think it's really funny. Yeah. And then it starts to become people are just oh, come on, man, have some dignity. Yeah, they have a musical number, and it's all the other people that have gone through something embarrassing on the beach, all the other fucking losers.
I need a tailor because I ripped my pants.
You're good, Greer. I can't.
They used to rerun older episodes so much, and I just rewatched them. I like the one. There was another Sandy one that I like. There are two. The one where she wants to go back to Texas, and then there's another one where she goes into hibernation, and then SpongeBob. And the dome. And they
steal all her fur. They steal all her fur, and she's really huge because she's got all this food stored in her.
I'm Dirty Dan. I'm Dirty Dan.
She's she's a really, really great character. I think my favorite female character on the show, I really like Mrs. Puff just because of how fucking tragic her life is. But I think probably what the fuck is the daughter's name again? Mr. Krabs' daughter, Pearl. Yeah, I really, really like Pearl.
Yeah.
And I love Mr. Krabs as well. I think his obsession with money
Krabs
first of all
is a dick. I love it.
But he's there's something, I don't know, the gang of SpongeBob, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs, working at the Krusty Krab, they're all so different. Any episode that is just the three of them interacting, I really, really like.
I like, it's not even a female character, but I like Plankton's computer wife. It's probably my favorite.
Oh yeah, Karen. Yeah. And just how fucking sarcastic she is.
Oh good. I love holographic meatloaf again.
Plankton, I really like. I think
the best
voice.
lines in the entire show.
Yeah, he really does. I just think
I'll remember you all in therapy.
I really like the episode where Mr. Krabs dresses up as Pearl to scare Plankton. And again, like, that's actually quite dark because because Plankton ends up like a hermit, like rocking back and forth in his bedroom, like not leaving the house, like fucking scared of his own shadow. Like, yeah, he's a great character, Plankton.
There was one episode that like was kind of sad, where SpongeBob, I think like Mr. Krabs lost a bet, so SpongeBob had to go work at the Chum Bucket, and like they had this sad musical number about how SpongeBob missed working at the Krusty Krab, and it was like this really sad musical number.
He yeah, like a couple of times I've seen on the show now, he's like either like thought he's lost his job or he's been fired or like, and it's like I love how anytime he's not at the Krusty Krab, like everything he does, like he turns into a Krabby Patty. Like he's supposed to build a house and he builds it in the shape of a Krabby Patty. Like he like has to make hot dogs and he makes them all into hot dog patties. Like that, like that's all he can do. That's his life.
Yeah. Like even when they had that one episode with where he made Pretty Patties and then he quit the Krusty Krab to go sell Pretty Patties.
Oh yeah.
Which are just Krabby Patties, but they were colored like purple and shit. He is
redonkulous.
See, like that's the thing. I didn't know that SpongeBob was so prevalent, like in anywhere as much as it is in America. But
oh no, it's huge. It's huge over here. It's and like yeah, like merchandise, like quotes, memes, like it's just as popular over here as it is in America. It's probably popular all over the world. Like I think because the visuals are so memorable. Like I think it probably translates quite well.
It's easily translated, probably.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Actually, the visuals really remind me of Ren and Stimpy. Mm-hmm. Like the kind of when occasionally they do things in like loads of detail.
It's the reason why like I mean there's not really many pop culture references or anything like that, so it's easily translatable to other countries. I was actually thinking about that earlier because I was following someone on Tumblr and they're Swedish and they said, yeah, I tried to watch the Lego movie but I didn't really get most of it because it's very American and there are a lot of American references in it. And they're like, and she had people, tell her like, there are a bunch of, American puns and puns in English that don't really translate well over into another language. So it shows like SpongeBob that just translate very, very well over into other countries because there aren't that many, play on English words and stuff that is pretty hard to translate,
I think that's totally true, and I think that's why it'll last because and
a lot of the humor is in the animation too.
Oh yeah, totally. But I think the reason why the show is so popular is because like the characters are great, and the writing is great, and I think that's very timeless. Like the problem with so many children's things now is that they're just crammed with pop culture references, nods to things that only adults are gonna get, and it's like that's such a cynical way of making entertainment. Like if you want to make something that people are going to enjoy, just make it good, just write it well. Not
saying that there aren't good children's programming with, every piece of children's programming with pop culture references is, shit. Sesame Street does, TV parodies all the time and they're hilarious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the Lego Movie is great.
Lego Movie is great.
But I think it can't just be that. Yeah. And I think it is
like on Cartoon Network they have like a new Mad TV kind of show based more off the magazine. It's not sketch comedy or anything, but it's like it's essentially like Robot Chicken for kids, but it's done in different styles of animation. And some of the skits are actually kind of funny. Like, it's actually kind of like most of the stuff is actually kind of solid. I've never watched Mad TV. Is it like a sketch show then? Is that? No, well they had Mad TV. It probably it's weird because they had Mad TV, which was a sketch comedy show on Comedy Central, but now they have Mad, which is on Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's it's like sketches, but they're done it's like a Robot Chicken for children. but it's done not in the same style, like, not in the same animation style as Robot Chicken. It's not stop motion, but it's done in all different forms of animation. Like, it's like one animator works on, like, one sketch. And
Well, I think
there's
the thing
like
is
10 of them an episode, and, you know, there are actually a few adult, you know, older kids, you know, jokes for, you know, older kids in there, so, I mean, that's why I thought, you know, there were a couple of them that were, you know, I flipped to it once, and I'm like, oh, this is, you know, that one's alright, oh, that one was funny, oh, that one was actually, you know, alright, you know, just back and forth. It's really hit and miss.
Yeah, I mean, sketch shows are very, very hit and miss. I mean, like, I think it's very, very
sketch
hard.
show, it's pretty good. Robot Chicken has kind of raised that bar a lot, so.
I think the thing is like, yeah, you're right. Pop culture references don't necessarily make something bad or mean that they're not going to last, but it's much harder. I think, you know, they have to.
There's a lot more effort.
The right
when it's an original plot and it doesn't have to rely on pop culture references.
Yeah, absolutely.
And cliche stuff. Like, there are shows out there that don't rely on pop culture references, but they use plots that have been used over and over again. That's why people like Adventure Time and Regular Show and Steven Universe and, you know, Gravity Falls, is because they're like plots that you don't see a whole lot. Whereas there are other shows on you know, Disney Channel that, you know, you use original, you know, don't rely on pop culture references, but the plots they use are just for the past 30 years over and over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, watching Doug made me really, like, appreciate, like, that liar revealed thing. Like, that is everywhere, and it's almost like a default setting now. Like, if you can't think of an idea or how to create a kind of denouement, then liar revealed,
or misunderstanding.
And it's, now that I know...
That is
exactly. Now that I know,
fucking misunderstanding, plot points, and conflicts are like the worst for me. I cannot stand them because real life doesn't work that.
No, absolutely. Because you ask questions, you dig a little deeper, and people divulge more. You don't just accept everything on face value if it seems completely unbelievable. You ask more questions. And yeah, I think, like, now that I know that those things exist, I'm really, like, acutely aware of them. And it is funny, like, that brings up the question, like, when you know more about film and just when you know more about the world, do you enjoy things less? Are things ruined for you more? Things that you might have enjoyed previously. I mean, it's like I watched Pleasantville with my friend Steph, and it's like, I love Pleasantville, but we had a really, really long conversation after the film about things in it that didn't work, you know, certain themes that were kind of misjudged or poorly executed, or, you know, were a little bit, like, mixed up.
For me, like, there's stuff that I recognize, like if you watch the first Pokemon movie again, not a great movie, but I still like it.
No.
Like, I recognize that the plot is crap, and that most of it's crap, but I still enjoy it because I loved it when I was a child, and I completely understand, you know, what's wrong with it, but I don't give a shit. I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a time, I'm with you there, like, I think there was a time when something would have just been ruined for me, where I would have, I wouldn't have been able to, like, I remember, like, I really liked Scrubs when I was younger, like, no, I think it's still good, but, like, I think people making fun of it, like, really ruined it for me for a while, whereas now, I think I'm able to objectively look at something and say, like, yeah, I think nowadays it would have been made differently, you know, this would have been handled differently, but I think I'm old enough now that doesn't ruin it for me. I think I guess I'm just more mature. You know, that I'm not just going to stamp my feet and be like, well, you fucked that up for me, I can't enjoy that now.
Anyway, let's move on from that. They had, we've been talking about cartoons for way too long, but, I wanted to get your opinion. I was gonna segue off of cartoons to talk about Legend of Korra, because that premiered this week. And
oh, you're more than welcome to talk about it.
I'm so happy because it looks like they're going to take everything that fucked up last season and not do that, which is awesome.
Was last season the first season? Was last season the first season?
Was it the first season? No, it wasn't. This season's the third season.
Oh, okay. But like, yeah, I mean, it's had really mixed reviews, hasn't it? Legend
last
of Korra.
Season was a mess.
How so?
They tried to. The creators really thought that, and this is hard to explain to someone that has not seen either of the Avatar series, but for people who do understand, I'm pretty sure, and this is my theory, the creators saw the last Airbender series, and they're like, oh, people really liked the romance by the end of that. And we're like, yeah, we did. You know, we had time to grow with these characters, and they weren't romantically involved at first, but then they started having feelings for each other, and it gradually grew over 4 or 5 seasons, and we really like it. They're like, okay, well, let's put romance in Legend of Korra. And we're like, wait a second, no, because this guy is a piece of shit, and we don't know these characters yet, and we haven't seen them grow. And they're like, oh, okay, well, let's introduce a love triangle the next season. And we're like, no, because he's a piece of shit.
And yeah, like, if it hasn't evolved naturally.
Yeah, no, they had romantic, they had romantic, subplots in the first season. Like, within the first 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm like, stop, this, no, you can't do this automatically when you have a female protagonist. You can't do that.
No, you have to earn it, and also, like, it's annoying
She's the Avatar.
because, like,
she has more important shit to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, look at that
women
war going on.
To...
Fucking hell.
Yeah. The idea that women have to be in, like, a romantic...
When, like, the spirit world was just opening up and the portal was going crazy. You'll see when you watch the show one day. Because the world was, like, in danger. And she's like, oh, man, I'm fucking things up with Mako. And I'm like, fuck him. He's a piece of shit. And, no, but it looks like they're gonna take everything from, like, that. Because... I like the season 3. That was a good premiere. That was they showed the first 3 episodes, and
oh yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I found myself really enjoying it. I'm like, this is the best season premiere that they've had, honestly. Because
wow, well that's great, and isn't it heartening that they actually
it looks like they're actually, because they were confused at first. I think the creators were like, yeah, we thought you guys wanted romance, but I guess not. And we're like, yeah, no, we don't actually.
But like, I mean, isn't that
romance
like?
Is fine.
I think that's so
just don't
rare.
Do it so quickly. It felt extremely rushed.
It's great that like. Usually creators, they are just like, well, we're making it for ourselves, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. It's not ours. Like, it's so heartening that they actually give a shit about their fans.
Yeah, I mean, they gave kind of a shit, but, now they're like, well, yeah, we're kind of making this show for us, But it's weird. I have a love-hate relationship with those people. It sucks, but
yeah,
this season looks like it's gonna be good. Obviously, it looks like it's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite characters are, like, front and center. It's great. Like, characters that didn't get anything to do last season. They're like, here, they're gonna do stuff now. And I'm like, yes. Please.
Wow. Well, that's great. I might just start watching it. Obviously,
you have to watch the first Airbender series first, but...
Apparently, M. Night Shyamalan is making a new Avatar
That's a
film.
rumor. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know. Because A, it flopped, and
well,
B,
the other
people
one was
hate
such
it.
Yeah, it was a resounding failure
no.
Critically, box office. Like,
I remember when I saw
it was a hearty no.
I remember when I saw that movie, I came out of that movie, and for, like, 2 hours, I tried to reason with myself, like, no, like, there has to be something, like, okay about this movie. Like, I tried to point out that the little things that were good because I tried to justify myself going to see it.
Well, no, I think you can justify it by saying, it was a series that you loved and you were curious. I think that's legit. I mean, I think my favorite bit in the whole film is
that's how excited I was about it.
Oh, you must have been devastated.
I didn't like
No,
it.
my favorite bit in the whole movie is where they're doing those really intense like Tai Chi moves, and it's all to like move a
Earthbending, yeah.
fucking rock a little bit to the left. Yeah, that's fucking
Fucking, they
stupid.
have
But there are
evidence in
so
the
many
fucking
moments
show
like
of
that. That was
Earthbenders just
particularly.
splitting islands in half.
I mean, I know nothing about Avatar, and even I could see what a dumb movie
You need
that
to watch
was.
Avatar. It's good. I've been telling you that for years, but you should
I
still
do.
probably do it.
I think I would say a solid year. You've been telling me. I would say a
Yeah.
solid 1 year. We're coming into our second year. We're entering our second year of you recommending Avatar to me. Talking of which, how long have we been doing? Let's actually find out how long we've been doing the podcast
Our
for.
first episode was October something, 2012. It was like the end of
2012.
October.
Yeah, fuck, it's getting
Yeah.
on for 2 years. We should have a 2 year anniversary.
We might. Well, we probably will, but
We should. We probably, but it should be like an event. We should try and figure out a way of doing it as an actual event, like basically just rip Linkara off. Linkara's 300th episode has come out today. I haven't watched it yet. It's an hour and a half
Have
long.
you
This is only
finished all of
part
the
one.
Linkara storyline stuff?
No, not yet, and I'm kind of worried that it's going to ruin it for me because I know how obsessive he is with continuity, but I don't want to wait. The live stream last night was
I
really
missed out
good.
on
Like,
live
I'm
stream.
I'm hoping there'll be a copy
Oh
of
yeah,
it
it's
somewhere.
probably archived.
That like
wherever he did it on, it's
Yeah.
probably archived there. So
it was fucking great.
I wanted you to talk about
yeah.
because it's been on the front page of YouTube for the past couple days, and the new trailer for Doctor Who came out with.
Oh, the new Doctor Who trailer. Well, it's only about 12 seconds long, but I really like it. Peter Capaldi, I like his vocal intonation. Like, so far, that's the only kind of clue about the way in which he's playing the character, but so far, so good. Stephen Moffat said that he is going to be a particularly kind of dark Doctor, which I think is interesting given the fact that we've just had Matt Smith and David Tennant, who were very light-hearted, or could be very light-hearted, and they were a lot younger. I have heard that the next season is going to end on quite an epic cliffhanger, which I'm quite excited about. Although I can't imagine what it's going to be, because they've said it's something that we would never see coming, and it's like, well, all we're going to do is predict stuff that we've been predicting forever. Like, is the Doctor's name going to be revealed? Is he going to die? Is it something going to be revealed about, like, whether he's human or not? Like, is Gallifrey going to come back? Like, and all those things, like, they're things that we could predict because we've been speculating about them for so long anyway. I can't imagine how he could genuinely pull the rug from under our feet. Because fan hype is so huge. Mm-hmm. Like, it would have to be like the last thing you could possibly predict. Like, I don't know. Like, but see, even then, like, I'm thinking, like, oh, has he got a brother? Has he got parents? And it's like, well, no, we've had daughters. You know, we've had like an extra Doctor, like, that was specially created from David Tennant's Doctor that could go and live with Billie Piper in an alternate universe to, like, which was basically fan service. Like, that was just to keep the fans happy. Like, you can't get much more ridiculous than that. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know how they're gonna pull the rug from our feet. You know nothing about Doctor Who,
not really.
do you, Greer?
I've seen one episode of Doctor Who. That's about it.
And you thought it was boring?
Yeah, I thought it was a little boring, honestly. Well, no, I've seen the one episode I've seen of it. I thought it was boring, and then I watched another episode. I'm like, oh, that was sweet.
What episode was that?
It was a Christmas episode, I think, and it was Matt Smith.
Oh, really?
Had something to do with a little boy and some woman in a time machine freezer thing.
Oh.
And a shark.
Yeah, I think I know which. Oh, yeah, the infamous shark slay. No, it was like a kind of Christmas Carol style episode. It's really good. That's a really, really solid episode. Apart from that ending, which was dumb. And usually the Doctor Who Christmas specials are kind of all dumb. So I'm quite impressed that this one was half decent. Sometimes Doctor Who is shit. That's the thing. Like sometimes it's terrible, because I think like a lot of it is intended for family audiences, and they don't kind of mesh the darkness that also comes with Doctor Who very elegantly. So it is hit and miss Doctor Who, but sometimes it's fucking great. Sometimes it's sweet, and I love it. I even love it when it's bad.
Speaking of, I wanted to get an update on you watching Game of Thrones, but then the Queen went to go see the Iron Throne and the cast in Belfast, and that completely distracted me
And
from
that took,
everything.
yeah, I think that took precedence. No, it's really like the pictures are hilarious.
Apparently,
There
they
is
asked
something
her if she
inherently
wanted to
fun.
sit on the Iron Throne, because that's what everyone wanted, and she was like, "No, I'm alright."
Yeah, I mean, she is such an ungrateful
I didn't
cow.
like.
Like,
I'm
you have
surprised.
no
Do you
idea how many
think that
people
she
she
actually
killed.
watches Game of Thrones?
No, I definitely don't think she does. But there is something funny about her like miserable face on the Game of Thrones set. Like that is funny to me because she just so doesn't want to be there.
Like, I would think
Um,
maybe Harry watches it. Harry and William and Kate maybe, but not her. I wouldn't think.
I don't think William and Kate watch it. I think
Harry
Harry
probably
watches
does,
it because
yeah.
he's like a studly badass.
Harry's
I
living
think
the
he
single
watches
guy
it.
life.
Yeah, he is. Is it no? Harry's
Unfortunately, he's
what are you
not
talking
dating
about?
me.
Harry.
I'm sorry to quiet those rumors that I'm not dating Prince Harry.
Oh, Greer, you've crushed me. But no, Harry's on a reality show. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's busy here in America dating American women. That fucking bullshit.
Trying to find Oh man, that show, I haven't actually watched any of it yet. It's just reminded me that
Oh my
that's
god.
something I need to do
Yeah, I
immediately.
haven't seen it either, but
I
what sucks
on
is I
that note,
think some of those girls by now know. Like on the first episode, like most of those girls had like suspicions. They're like, I don't even think that this is actually Prince Harry, you know. But then the other half of the girls are
yeah,
like, I don't even know what he looks like.
that was a
Yeah.
great American Girl voice. I know you are yourself an American Girl, but
Mhm.
nevertheless,
That was my
I
Kim Kardashian impression.
yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. No, I mean, I don't think he looks anything like. I mean, he looked like a Harry impressionist that you'd
See in
like
Las Vegas.
pay over the odds for something.
Or that
Yeah,
you take a picture
exactly.
with on the street and
Or,
you're like, I'm at Prince Harry today, and people would believe you. But
or they'd be like, no, you didn't, you fucking idiot. But like, or yeah, or like you'd invite him, like you'd pay over the odds to have him walk around at a party, but like, and nobody would genuinely believe that he was
yeah.
Prince Harry for a second. Well, you'd have, and if you knew what Harry looked like, you
Hmm.
wouldn't believe that he was Prince Harry. But nevertheless, I think they just want to be on TV. I think the majority of people that go on reality shows, they're willing to sacrifice their dignity, how they look to other people. I think if they're on TV, they're
Back on
happy.
topic.
I myself
Have
would
you
feel.
watched any more Game of Thrones?
No.
God damn it.
I know.
You're about to get to the meat of the series, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna stop watching it.
To be totally frank with you, I like it, but I don't love it. I really,
I just said, what did I just say? You're about to get to the meat of it.
yes, that is true.
Like right at the episode you stopped at, that's where I'm like, oh, it's getting close.
Do have people said that they weren't that keen on Game of Thrones at first, and then they started watching it, and
Yes,
okay, so I'm not the only one that's happened to.
I've heard that from a few people.
Okay, then I need to keep watching it. I definitely
Yeah.
need to keep watching it.
Like the episode you stopped at.
Oh,
Like
great!
the episode after that.
This must be killing
Like the
you.
2 episodes after that. I feel sorry for you because you're gonna see some stuff's gonna happen and you're gonna be sad.
Oh man, I'm excited. I am genuinely excited. Maybe that's what I need to do tonight.
Yeah.
But I probably won't. I'll probably just watch. No, I will. I'll watch Game of Thrones. I will.
Finish season 1. Just go ahead and get season 1 out of the way.
Okay, I will. I will, Greer. That is my promise to you.
Season 1's only 10 episodes. You're on like episode fucking 6 or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think the problem is as well is that the circumstances under which I watched the first few episodes, I just had a really shitty few days at work, and then I actually have nothing further to talk about, Greer. I don't know about yourself.
I bought a bunch of games and now I have to play them.
Okay, alright, you have free reign to talk about games.
Okay, so the Steam Summer Sale is the past 10 days and I bought way too many games.
And it was a very, very significant time in your life. I remember you were very
It was a
excited.
very significant time in my life. I was waking up, I had alarms set so I go check flash sales, and then I would be like, okay, well, that's nothing good, and then I'd go back to sleep. And that was my life for 10 days.
I can completely relate.
I was waking up I was ready because the flash sales would change at 1 p.m., 9 p.m., 5 a.m., and it was 1 p.m., 9 a.m., and 5 a.m., or 1 p.m., 9 p.m., and 5 a.m.
Wow.
So I would have to wake up at like 5 a.m. and be like, okay, well, okay, nothing good, I'm going back to sleep.
Greer,
and then I have to wake up again at 1, and then stay up until 9.
Greer, aren't you up at 5 a.m. anyway?
Sometimes. I actually slept all the way through the night last night.
Wow, I am flabbergasted.
I went to bed at 8 at night because I was really tired, and then I woke up at like 6.
Oh, fair play. Wow, that's a really healthy night's sleep. I can completely relate though. Like, I remember when the Mighty Boosh Live DVD came out, I was around your age. Although I would still do it now. No, I might have a little bit more self-control now, but what I did at the time was, or not much more self-control, actually, almost no more self-control. I, like, borrowed money from people. Like, I spent the entire day asking people, like, oh, can I borrow £1 to go and get a Coke? Oh, can I borrow, like, 20p to, like, get some chewing gum? Oh, and by the end of the day, I'd made enough money to buy the Mighty Boosh DVD, the live DVD, because I had to have it that day.
Uh-huh.
I was just like, no, I don't think it was that bad. I think I had a bit of money. But, like, the point is,
I've also just realized that because of the Steam sale, my bank account is now overdrawn by $2.
But that's the thing, I totally relate to that thing.
That's
of
what's
being,
supposed to happen, though, so...
Yeah, and, like, yeah, it's that thing of, like, being so desperate to have some, like, pop culture thing that you're really obsessed with. Like, to have it when it's there, to have it now, to have to take advantage of those circumstances, like, whatever the situation.
I was gonna check to see how much money I started out with.
Yeah.
Because me and my brother split $54 during the sale. But it was between me and my brother. And, because we had saved it off for ourselves, that we had saved up. Anyway, but it was just now I had to look it up, and I'm like, oh, my bank account's overdrawn. I thought I had done this math correctly, but apparently not.
Oh, well,
So now I'm overdrawn by $2.
$2, I think that's...
Thanks, Steam.
I think that's fair enough, though, $2.
But we split $54. I bought 12 games, and then my brother got 4 games.
What's the game you're most excited about?
I've been playing a lot of BattleBox Theater with Heather.
Okay, what's that? Give me a rundown of that.
It is a puzzle platformer, and it's very, very funny.
Okay.
And it's also really hard.
do you play as anyone, or...?
You just play as your little guy that you make. Like,
okay.
You can unlock heads and prisoners and stuff, so you just... But I have 15 hours in that game, and most of it... I bought it, like... When did I buy it? A few days ago. I already have 15 hours in it, and most of those hours have been playing co-op with Heather. So Heather is about the same amount of time as I do in that game.
I wish Heather was here. Heather, why aren't you here?
But now my brother got the game, because I told him it was good, so I bought it for him. And then, if you still want to buy it, by the way, Fran,
yeah.
You have 30 minutes left before the Steam sale is completely over.
Okay, I think I can live with that.
BattleBox Theater's $3.74.
I see the gaming thing. That is something that I legitimately like. I want to commit some time to.
Wait, you know what you could do is wait for the Christmas sale, because that's when other Steam games go on.
That's not a bad idea.
There's like 3 like major sales that go on during the year for PC gaming. It's the Steam Summer Sale, and then they have another sale in the winter, and then Humble Bundle Store has a sale in the spring.
Okay, so the Christmas sale.
It's all games, and they go on for like 2 weeks at a time.
That's awesome.
and it's just really heavily discounted games.
So it's been a really happy 2 weeks for you.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Oh.
I'm mentally drained, but other than that, I'm gonna have enough games to hold me. I had to cut myself off yesterday because I'm like, I can't buy anything else. A, I'm out of money, and B, I have enough games to last me until the winter sale.
Well, great.
Where I will spend another $50 on games that I'm probably never gonna play.
Well, I'm very happy for you, and I think you deserve to indulge yourself. On that note, I think, unless there's anything else particularly pressing, like, I think that would be a good place to end it. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. I'm also going to be moving soon, so if the podcasts become inconsistent within the next month or so, I apologize. Because I'm moving soon. Me and my family are
I am incredibly happy that you're moving, though.
So who knows how long it's going to take Comcast once we get there? How long it's going to take Comcast to actually set up our internet? So.
Okay, well you need to.
Because Comcast is obviously the best company in the world.
Well, I mean, maybe what we could do is in the time. For the time being, actually, this is a boring thing for me to be discussing. We can strategize when we're off air. Okay. But we'll get by. Basically, we'll figure out a way to get by. I'm excited that you're moving. You've like.
My parents are not excited. They're really stressed out.
Yeah, I can imagine. Moving is a bitch. But you'll be in a...
My mom keeps having dreams. She's like, I keep having dreams about moving. I have a lot of anxiety about it.
But you'll be in a...
I'm like, this is how, like, and I told her, like, this is how not worried about it I am. I had a dream last night that I was hanging out with Drew Carey. That's how much of anxiety I had last night.
I had a really, really long...
I had a dream where, A, I hung out with Drew Carey, and B, I made out with Markiplier. It was... Not even gonna lie, that was my dream.
No, I dreamt that I made out with Stephen Merchant once. No shame.
Really?
Yeah. I legitimately.
How was that experience?
Fucking bizarre. I think we were in the pub. I wouldn't now. I'm kind of over Stephen Merchant now for the most part.
Oh. It's just John Oliver all the time.
It's pretty much just
all day, every day.
John Oliver now. When I see him on Last Week Tonight, I get legitimately like. My heart beats faster. Like
I got really excited when he held that puppy last week.
He's looking really...
He was talking about... I forget what he was talking about.
He's looking really good at the...
Dr. Oz. He was talking about Dr. Oz, and then...
Oh, yeah, and he
was talking about pandering,
like,
and then
any seat that Dr. Oz is on is the hot seat. And then he went, ooh, ooh.
And then he held a puppy, and then Steve Buscemi tap danced, and it was great.
It is the best show on television.
If you don't watch Last Week Tonight, like, I don't even want to be your friend.
Yeah, fucking do it. Seriously, what are you waiting for? He's looking great at the moment. His hair is looking fantastic. They're putting him in some good...
His mom isn't cutting it.
His mom isn't cutting it anymore. He's probably brushing his teeth. It looks to me that way. It looks to me to be that way.
He has, like, those stereotypical British teeth, though.
Yeah, he does. But they're whiter than what they were. And they're putting him in great suits. He's looking really, really sharp.
Lots of blues and purples.
Yeah, it's a good look for him. Not to mention the things that he actually says are incredibly intelligent and incisive, which, of course, as you all know, is the most important thing.
Yeah, I like the one he did on FIFA and how, like, corrupted and shit FIFA is, but he's like, I don't care, I'm still gonna watch the World Cup.
I mean, I do like the fact that, like, we've got this very
it's not like shaming, he didn't shame anyone for it, like, he's like, I'm still gonna watch the World Cup, you know? Usually when you have things like that, I mean, especially, you know, I could talk about, you know, fast food places, and people will talk about, you know, Chick-fil-A and how corrupt they are, or, you know, McDonald's and how corrupt they are, and they'll shame you for, like, oh, you like that thing? I'm gonna shame you because their corporations are corrupt. But it's like, no, John Oliver's like, yeah, FIFA's corrupt as shit and probably one of the worst companies or corporations in the world, but I'm still gonna watch fucking football.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. I really respect the fact that he is honest. Like, he does, you know, he tells you exactly what's wrong with all these things. You know, he's not a. I think he'd be more of a kind of hypocrite if he kept those thoughts to himself. But he is also like, I'm only human. I am still going to watch football. And I really respect the guy. I think he's incredibly smart. He doesn't shy away from being brutally honest. And he's incredibly.
I like the one where I like the bit where he's talking about the death penalty, and he really doesn't want to talk about the death penalty, but he's like, okay, if you can make it through this conversation about the death penalty with me, I will show you this YouTube video that's been going around of a hamster eating a tiny burrito.
Yeah, like,
and then by the time he's done with it,
yeah.
The best part of it is when, by the time he's done with it, you've forgotten that he said that. So when he pulls out the video of the hamster eating the tiny burrito, like, you're almost surprised by it, which makes it even funnier.
And it is legitimately...
You're like, oh my god, I forgot!
It is legitimately cute, the video as well. It is legitimately cute.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, like, I also think what is really, really good about the show is the fact that it is coming at these very, very American things from a British perspective. So it's a very, very American show, like the kind of the style of commentary and the way that it's presented, it's very big and bright and shiny.
Yeah, he did a really good bit on immigration.
Yeah.
Coming from the standpoint that he is essentially an immigrant.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very, very good point. But because he's white and a male English. And because he's not like a poor black person or a poor Spanish or a Mexican person, like he's not kind of belittled for it.
Isn't it like you guys that don't like immigrants? Like you guys as government, or like?
Our government is very, very anti-immigrants and immigrancy and makes life very, very hard.
Like what kind of immigrants? Like French people?
No,
like what kind
people,
of immigrants?
Well, like Polish people, Africans.
Oh, cool.
Basically anyone of a different color, or anyone that's poor, or if like they're a group of people that are particularly kind of prevalent in coming to this country, like they will be given a really, really hard time. There's a lot of racism, a lot of intolerance, and a lot of just the government pitting the most vulnerable people against each other. So pitting the poor against immigrants and saying about immigrants, immigrants, they're the reason why you're poor, they're scroungers, they're taking our jobs, they're taking our benefits.
That's essentially every sentence that's uttered by, like, Fox News and shit over here.
Yeah, exactly. It's not...
Immigrants, they're taking your jobs.
Yeah. Dictators. But yeah, I mean, it's exactly the same over here. And then they'll pit immigrants against the poor. They'll say, you come over here and you work really hard, and all the poor do is scrounge. And yeah, they pit the two most vulnerable groups against each other, so that everyone ignores all the horrible things that the government are doing. It's fucking douchey. Yeah, what can I say? It's douchey. That's about as articulate as I'm willing to get.
I'm trying to look for, like, what's been happening right now. Oh, apparently, Robert Downey Jr.'s son has been arrested for drug possession.
Oh, Jesus, that's sad.
Which,
and
it's kind of mean to say, there are people saying, oh, were you really surprised? And I'm like, don't say that, that's mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, but it is...
He doesn't have a drug problem anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult, because you could put it down to, well, he's young, and that's what young...
Like, is he following in his dad's footsteps, Like, that's so inappropriate, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. It's unsurprising that people are coming at it from that perspective, but, like, and it is, to be fair, it is really difficult to say, because people do repeat things that their parents do, but it could just be a blip. He's young. Young people sometimes...
He's 20 years old. Yeah. Apparently he got arrested on a cocaine charge.
Oh, Jesus.
They have found cocaine on him. Which, I just feel like that is so inappropriate to be like, oh, is he following his dad's footsteps? Like,
yeah,
shut the fuck
but
up.
it doesn't surprise me that people are saying...
He's been clean. How long has Robert Downey Jr. been clean?
I actually have no idea. I mean,
like 20 years or something?
I mean, he doesn't seem like a jerk, Robert Downey Jr. He doesn't seem like...
Oh, no, he's not.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, he's not like Justin Bieber, who, like, gets in fights with the paparazzi. And, like...
He's been very open about...
Yeah, exactly. He's not denying the fact that he had a drug problem, but he seems like a pretty together guy now. So it could very well just be, his son is young.
Yeah.
I'm more pissed about R. Kelly rejecting his transgendered son.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing. He basically his daughter transitioned into or is beginning the process of transitioning into a boy. Um, and yeah, he's very fucking not happy about it because he's a cunt. And what is really
Yeah.
ironic is R. Kelly has done some seriously horrible things in the past, and this is the thing that he's not okay with. I'm like, yeah, not to mention trap.
Yeah, it is kind of.
It's like, yeah,
It sucks because I love his music, which sucks a lot that he's kind of a shitty person. But you know,
it's super shitty. I mean, it's like I quite like Eminem, even though he's kind of a shitty dude.
he's all right. He has issues.
Yeah, he's gotten better.
He's a little bit damaged.
Yeah. There's a really funny,
someone like him is gonna have a few issues.
Yeah. I mean, and he is legitimately talented, to be fair, Eminem. Whereas, like, R. Kelly, fucking, like, and I looked in the cupboard, and there was a midget. Like, that's bad writing.
Trapped in the Closet.
Trapped in the Closet is so long. Do you know it's still...
I love it.
It makes me so happy.
I think we did an episode where I talked out how much I love Trapped in the Closet.
Oh, yeah, I think we all had a mutual appreciation for Trapped in the Closet. Anytime, like, R. Kelly, like, he suddenly appears telling the story in front of, like, the actual scene that's going on, like, he'll just suddenly materialize. That is hilarious. That kills me. That slays me.
Sorry, I'm typing something.
Okay.
About how pissed I am about this Robert Downey Jr. thing. Like, am I the only one that thinks that that's extremely inappropriate? I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's inappropriate, but I guess they're not saying it. It's that celebrity thing, isn't it? They're not saying it to his... Like, it is inevitable that people are going to talk about celebrities. It's just one of the trials of being a celebrity. People are going to...
I also don't want people to be going around saying, like, oh my god, he learned it from his dad.
Well, I think that's actually, I think you've hit a good point, because that's a dangerous attitude to have about anyone, regardless of whether they're famous or not. It's a bad precedent to set, because, yeah, just because somebody had a drug problem a long time ago, it doesn't mean that they're not capable of being clean. It doesn't mean that their children aren't capable of being, having ordinary lives. Yeah, it's a very, very narrow-minded viewpoint. But not.
I don't know. I just find it so dumb, considering how open Robert has been about his past and his addictions, and how shitty of a time of his life it was, and
Yeah, I mean,
he's been open about it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think he's...
So people are still going to give him the benefit of the doubt, or people are still going to be doubting him because.
Well, I think the thing is that unfortunately, when you're a celebrity and you have some kind of scandal, no matter how illustrious your career is, and no matter how much you legitimately clean up your act, people like kind of titillation and gossip, and that is the one thing.
It's like with Lindsay Lohan. I mean, people still make fun of Lindsay Lohan, even though she's been clean for years now.
Yeah.
And she's very open. She's very open about how clean she's been, and
people more than make fun of her. People hold her in like contempt. People are really quite. I mean, that I even find more uncomfortable than the Robert Downey Jr. thing, because she's so much younger, and because she's a woman, which means people are always going to give her more shit. But people are vicious about her. People are brutal.
It also blows my mind that people still give Britney Spears shit, even though she has, she has resurrected her career essentially, and
Britney Spears, I feel very, very sorry for Britney Spears, though. I think she seems like she was a really, like, deeply unhappy person. And I mean, to be fair, of course you would be. I mean, she was completely exploited. She made a video when she was in her teens that was like, I mean, pretty, like, that Hit Me Baby One More Time video is...
Give me a sign. To be fair, like, who that was targeted at, like, it was targeted toward, like, not older creepy dudes. It was targeted at, like, people my age when I was a child. We weren't thinking about that stuff. It was, like, the only, like, the creepy dudes, or, like, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't realize that until I was like older. I'm like, I thought this was like the coolest video, but then
Yeah.
it's been ruined by
No,
creeps.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't get it at the time at all. And like, I sang the fucking song in a talent show when I was like 11. But it's like, no, if you actually listen to the lyrics, like, you know, like hit me baby one more time, like, and the fact that she is dressed as like a young schoolgirl with a lollipop and pigtails, like, despite the fact that she was like 16 at the time, that is really,
I think she was like 18, but
well, still though, I mean, like,
she
and
did look
the people
older for her
making
age,
those
though.
decisions for her like video, they would have been like, yeah, they would have been the ones deciding like what costume to put her in, like, so it all feels a bit creepy and insidious, and she was a very young person entering that industry, so I feel like she would be messed up.
I should look up who directed that video, if it was a man or a woman.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
should look
maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it would be. It's
You
funny,
know what happens when you assume you make an
with
ass
you
out of
and
this
me,
podcast.
or an ass of the podcast, indeed. I love the fact as well that I'm like, oh, maybe I'm wrong now that you're actually looking it up. But like, I think,
The one thing I need to do, like, before, you know, within the next couple years, because she's doing a show in Vegas right now, and I think she's gonna be there for like the next year or so, and I'm
you
like,
know,
I need to go to Vegas and see Britney
she's a
Spears.
great,
I
like,
have to.
she's a great performer. Like, I really enjoyed her stuff when I was growing up.
You know what sucks is that, like, I watch the Vegas show online, and it's like, she looks so tired, and I'm like, oh man.
But was it good? Like, was it? It wasn't like that awful
She was.
she did with the
It
snake.
wasn't. She wasn't lip syncing very much. I mean, she had a backing track,
Was she lip
but
syncing well, or was she lip syncing badly?
she wasn't really lip syncing. There was a backing track, and she was still singing while dancing, and they were throwing her around and stuff. But you know,
But was it?
yeah, no, the Baby One More Time video was directed by a dude.
Yeah. See,
So,
I'm not surprised about that. I mean, like,
This guy also directed the music video for "Do They Know It's Christmas" by the Band-Aid thing.
are you kidding?
Live Aid.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's a terrible song. That's an awful song.
I like it. I don't care.
I think maybe it's because I'm
Also directed a lot of Tears for Fears music videos, by the way.
It seems weird that, like, yeah, what a weird transition to go into.
Also, let's see. Oh my god, he's done everything. Jesus. He's been in this business for a while. Okay. Yeah, no, it says on here, he received criticism, the video's original setup was blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, he was, attempting to attract a younger audience with the video, but,
I think
yeah.
maybe very, 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 very misjudged, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is hilarious.
Apparently, the same school that they filmed the music video at was the same school that they shot Grease in.
Really? Oh wow,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Rydale High.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Or Venice High School in LA.
This is hilarious, Greer. There's a picture here that George Takei's just put up of, like, it's a sign that's like stapled to a lamppost, and it says, like, have you seen this bird? And it's a picture of a pigeon, and it's like, I met this bird downtown near the by the tree near the post office. We chilled for like 5 minutes, and then without any warning he just flew away. We really hit it off, so if you see him, please let him know that I missed that crazy son of a bitch. That's really great.
Oh yeah, I see it. Oh my god! Anytime I see stuff like that, it always makes me want to go watch that video that I posted up a long time ago when I went to MagFest, and I'm in Union Station, and that there was that pigeon just walking around, and it freaked me out a lot.
Yeah, it's that amazes me that you were so kind of nonplussed by that, because that's so common in England. Like,
I was so tired that I sounded really like about that, but I was like, what the fuck? I was really freaking out. I thought this was a problem. I'm like, if I were back home, this would be like the police would be here by now.
Oh, I mean, no, it's so common over here. Like, have you been to new train stations since and seen pigeons flying around? Because that is,
No!
yeah, it's insane.
It was not even a subway station, it was the train station where, it was the Amtrak station that I was leaving to go home from.
And no, like, it's even more common in train stations. Like, Victoria Station, like, you cannot move for pigeons.
Oh my god. I have to find that video again.
By
Probably-
the way, can you please find for me the video of Film Brain saying hello to me? Because I can't find that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, can you send that to me again?
Yes, I will.
Thank
Okay. Let's end it here. How about that?
Okay. Alright, I feel like...
Now we're just shooting the shit,
Yeah.
which we can do
Yeah,
after I finish recording.
yeah, absolutely. But we need a punchy...
Me and Fran hang out outside of the podcast.
Yeah,
It's great.
you'd never believe it, would you?
Yeah.
Actually, you totally would. You have a lot of witty repartee
Mhm.
and inside jokes.
Okay, well, have a good day, everyone.
Yeah, have a good day, guys. Sorry we didn't have a punchier ending. I'm sure Greer and her editing prowess will change that, though.
Boom, boom, explosions everywhere. Boom, boom.
What the fuck? Greer's dead!
I'm Michael Bay. We'll turn this podcast around. That will be,
A slightly
our-
less shittier version of the thing we made 2 years ago.
yeah. We need to have Michael Bay edit this podcast. Michael Bay, please. Are you out there?
If Michael Bay edited this podcast somehow, despite the fact that we're only recording our voices, he would find a way to show our tits.
Yeah. Or someone else's. Probably Megan Fox.
Probably Megan Fox's.
You know what sucks? One last thing. You know what sucks?
What sucks?
Is that I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I really don't want to see that movie.
Yeah, that trailer.
I have such a disinterest in seeing that movie, but the shitty part is I'm probably gonna end up seeing it. That's the shittiest thing about all of this.
No, I think it'll suck, but I don't blame you for wanting to see it, because people that loved Transformers went to see the Transformers movies, even though they knew that, well, they might not have known that the first one would suck, but they certainly would have known that the sequel.
I have people that I know. I have friends that like love the Transformers cartoons and the toys and shit like that when they were kids.
Yeah, so
And they're like, oh, the Transformers movies are so shit, but they still go and see every single one, I think, in hope that maybe, like, one of them will be good. Like, they'll like at least one of them. Like, the first one is at least, like, okay, I've seen the first one.
Yeah,
and it's, like, alright.
I think it was the fact that he carried on making them. Like, he carried on.
Apparently people do have high hopes for this one because, Shia LaBeouf's not in it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's Mark Wahlberg, which people do have high hopes since it's Mark Wahlberg, so.
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Oh, damn it, I love that man's ass. I think that's a good place.
Yeah, apparently he gets down and dirty in it and holds a gun, and it's cool. I don't know. So that's why people actually have high hopes for this one.
Although, having said that, Marky Mark was in Pain and Gain, and Pain and Gain was a piece of shit.
I heard Pain and Gain was one of those movies that was, like, really terrible, but people still, like, liked it because it was so terrible.
Apparently it was like looking into Michael Bay's soul and finding just an empty void.
I know people that saw it and liked it because they said it was such a piece, like, it was so over the top and crazy. And they're like, oh my god, this movie's so great. It makes no sense and it's so stupid, but it's great. Like, it's one of those movies. I mean, like, makes no sense and
I think I am gonna have to see it.
What?
Pain and Gain.
Pain and Gain, yeah. Well, let's end it there. I've already said we were gonna end it 3 times. But
Yeah, I
had
know.
to talk about
we just keep shooting
turtles.
We just keep shooting the shit, Greer. We can't help it.
Talk about turtles.
Can't help shooting the shit about turtles. Well, about everything, really.
Yeah. Okay, well, have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day, guys. Sorry we're so ineffectual and crap. Goodbye.
Sorry we're stupid.
Sorry we're
Bye.
stupid. Bye.
Sorry, not sorry.